Welcome to Inside the SCCA Presented by Mazda Motorsports. I'm Brian Belansky. We are at the Solo Nationals, the 50th SCCA Solo Nationals here at Lincoln, Nebraska. It's day 4 here, the final day of competition. Final day of competition for the second group of drivers, the final day of competition overall. So at the end of today, we will crown another bunch of SCCA national champions. I think about 30 classes crowned today. Lots of competition as well. I'm competing today in H Street, and I am going out there to have a good time because I know I'm not going to be at the pointy end of the stick, but that is not the point for me. It's to learn what's going on here, learn how the process works, have a good time, and be ready to do this at a little better level next year. But nonetheless, we're having a great week. It's been an amazing week here in Lincoln, and I have had so much fun getting a chance to talk to everyone and learn their stories and tell those stories and share them with you. So let's get right to the interviews for our final show here from the Solo Nationals. We're here in the party center, folks, so if you hear some background noise, it's dinner being delivered by the caterer. So I will apologize for that, although these microphones are usually pretty good at not picking up too much background noise. Joining me right now is Julian Garfield here for, is this your, how many?
This is my 13th Nationals.
13th? Wait a second. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask the question. You know what I'm going to ask? How old are you?
I'm 25.
25. So did you start in the karting class when there was a karting class?
Yes. So
okay.
I was here first year that the juniors were allowed at Nationals, and ran it all the way up into cars. So,
okay.
Yep.
Used to be a class for the, I guess it was mostly teens and karts.
It started at 8, which is when
started at 8.
Yeah, my first national event was 2006.
Okay.
When I was 8. And then we could run the national tours and the pro solos, but we weren't able to come to the nationals. So a bunch of parents and families advocated for it.
Yep.
And 2008 was actually the first year that there was a class for JA and JB Solo Nationals.
They ran that class for a number of years. Unfortunately, they had to stop it. There were some safety concerns. And then you transitioned to cars.
Yep. In,
so
2014. Yeah.
So have you won any national championships?
So in the junior karts,
yes.
I was 5 in a row.
Okay.
From 2008 to 12.
All right.
In the cars, Pro Solo Championship in 2016.
Okay.
With it was actually in C Street as well.
Okay.
In MX5, the first year of the ND. But I'm still chasing that first official jacket.
Okay.
Unfortunately, so close many times.
Okay,
but
so
not quite.
that kind of answers my next question. You just finished your second heat today. How did you do?
Third.
Yeah. Still a good trophy.
Yeah, as 56 guys and very competitive class, so I can't complain.
Third place out of 56. You would know because you're young, which means you're probably fast. How hard is it to win a jacket?
For me, especially since I haven't officially done it, it's very, very tough.
Yeah.
So I very much chase. I like the challenge. I like the chase, particularly these big classes. And what I find is, this is actually my 20th season of autocross, and I found that I feel very comfortable, jumping in and being able to be pretty quick right away.
Sure.
But that last, 0.2% is really tough to find.
Right.
And that's what a lot of these jacket winners are getting.
Sure.
I sometimes the last 5 or 6 years wrapping up school, getting into a new job. I've done a few autocrosses a year for the last 5 years or so, and I'm just missing that last couple, 0.2%. To get that extra edge over everyone.
So when you finish third, in your head, do you know where you could have picked up a little here or a little there on your runs?
So yeah, I guess I was a little under a quarter second back, 0.23 back on day one and second. So I knew the guys that I was running with, a couple guys had coned some faster times, so I knew it was definitely going to be a challenge coming into today. Bill Keese was the one that took the win, and I had the advantage of, as I was pulling up to the line each run, I would see what Bill was coming in with.
Right, so you knew what you had to
so
get
I
to.
knew what I had to do. Coming into my last run today, he put down a time a half second up on me.
Wow.
Clean. it was, really, really solid run. I knew I was like, I can't leave anything on the table if I'm going to do that. So I was sitting, 62.5. I went out, gave it my all. I wobbled a couple cones, knocked a couple more down. 61.9. It was the fast raw time, but as you know, that's not worth a whole lot.
No, it's
here,
not.
So,
that's not.
So yeah, but even then, that raw time was not enough to offset my day one deficit. So I can't say I left any on the table.
So I always ask this question and I've been asking this question of both the older members and the younger members. There's a lot of, if you're walking around the paddock this weekend or in grid, it's not hard to understand or realize that most of the people driving here are not 25.
Absolutely, yeah.
How do we get more 25-year-olds out here? Because eventually us old folks aren't going to be able to do this anymore. I say that considering the fact that there are 80-year-old drivers here this weekend.
Yeah.
So, but we need to fill in the ranks with some new blood. And how can we best do that?
Yeah, I honestly, really getting outside of our circle of motorsports it's a very tight circle relative to young people in general. And I actually did a fair amount of work with the Washington, D.C. region as a novice coordinator. So basically fielding questions, ride-alongs with novices and if young or old, however they get into it. But one thing that we actually did there that I think should be done in a more widespread is if the region can afford it, we basically what we did is we offered for teenagers that come out and do a school. We ran our own schools in the region. If you come out and do a school, you get that season subscription free of charge.
Wow.
And so what that allows is, for one, some of the street survival stuff is really great, but we're not really promoting motorsport in those. We're promoting the defensive driving, the good driving tactics for on the street. But getting that practice and getting that continuous feeling of driving the car at the limit is something really important. So we saw an opportunity. Well, if you come out and do the school, learn how it goes. Maybe you have a really good time with it, but also incentivize the teens to keep doing it. And it's
a win-win.
It's a win-win because they become more competent and comfortable in their street cars. Maybe are more competent to avoid accidents, and then at the same time, maybe they get hooked while they're at it. So
and it's also an opportunity. I don't know if it's the same in DC, but out in LA, we've got a pretty significant problem with street racing. It gives people a chance to get some of that fun out in a legal manner. Where they can't hurt themselves. Well, pretty much can't hurt themselves. And I think we don't do a good enough job of promoting that either. Is an opportunity for us to get some of these kids, and they're not all kids either, but some of these folks who are doing some stuff on the streets they shouldn't be doing, to come out and have some fun with us. So, what is the future hold for you? You'll be back next year to try again? Yeah.
So I guess I've been kind of catching up with everyone here. I don't want to call it a comeback, but it's I've been away for a couple events a year for the last 5 years. Moved to a different region. Finished up school, started a new job. So bought this ND for C Street last August. Kind of slowly put it together throughout the year. It was actually my first national event with the car this year. And the goal is to I want to be more, be at more events next year. Got my wife into it as well.
Nice.
She wants to get more competitive, so I think I'm looking forward to a more involved season next year.
Fantastic.
Because I love running the big class, and I missed everyone. It's great to see everyone.
Once you're hooked, right?
Oh yeah. I hope I'm one of the people out here doing it when I'm 80.
Well, I mean, you may be, you're already well on your way to being a 50 consecutive,
That's right.
100%ers are, there's no more 100%ers left.
Right, can't do that.
Or you can't become a 100%er now, because you would have had to be at the first one and you weren't born yet. So, but to come up with 50 consecutive would be a good record to have.
Absolutely.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I did miss it. I missed last year and I missed 2013, but at least Silver Circle. Silver Circle before 40s.
Yep.
Not too bad, right?
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
The goal, right?
Well, hopefully I'll be here with you in 15 years and we'll celebrate that.
That'll be great. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. All right, Julian Garfield with us here. This is Inside the SCCA, presented by Mazda Motorsports.
Cool.
We're here at the 50th Solo Nationals. With me is Andre Illick. He is a Cam S Viper driver.
Yes.
There aren't many of you here, but I've got two of you on the podcast this week. So how did you just came off? You finished your event. How did you do?
Fourth place in Cam S and like 0.6 out of podium.
Oh.
Yeah, really close.
Yeah. So that's got to, when you're that close.
Yeah.
Do you know where you missed 0.6?
Do you have an idea? It was over on the plane side.
Okay.
I was having a little trouble kind of overdriving the front of the car.
Got it.
But yeah, a little bit more out of there, and it probably would have made the difference.
Right. So there's two courses here, an East and a West Coast course, or somebody referred to as the plain side or the corn side. We're on an airport tarmac here. One side is the runaways, that's the plain side. On the other side, a cornfield. So some people we call it the plain side, the corn side. Some people call it the East Coast or the West Coast course. So your Viper,
yeah,
not considered the best car for the class.
No, not
but
at all.
Fourth place is pretty strong, right?
It is. The car's come a long way. So it's a 97 without ABS.
Okay.
It's one of the Vipers that has like the least amount of power.
Sure.
And there's not a lot of parts aftermarket support for that car.
Okay.
So a lot of the stuff I've just had to do myself.
Like what?
All of the aero. I
Okay.
built the whole front splitter, the wing mounts for the rear, an adapted 9 Lives racing wing on the rear. It's probably
Okay.
the only Viper in the country with that setup.
Nice.
A lot of stuff like that. Custom built wheels, just the whole thing.
So do you have a background in engineering, or did you just teach yourself how to do this because you wanted to go fast in a Viper?
Right, yeah, it's been a passion project. I've been a mechanic since a young age,
Okay.
just old school kind of hot rod thing. And yeah, I just kind of made a square peg fit in a round hole is what it is. You know, I started out, not really expecting the car to be quick. It was just really fun.
Right.
And, chipping away at it ended up being pretty quick, so
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I love about coming here, and to a lesser extent, a lot of your local stuff as well, is you've got some folks here who bought the right car that had all the stuff ready for it.
I like to call them the easy button cars.
I just heard that today, which a great term. And then there are other folks who are like, I love this car.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to make it work.
Right.
That takes a commitment, right?
It does. Yeah, it's a trial and error and putting yourself out of your comfort zone frequently.
Right.
And just listening to good advice, and spending a lot of money.
So I always ask this question. So you've spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
How much of what you spent worked?
Right.
And so let's say you spent $100.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to know when we're done, you can tell me how much
Sure.
you really spent.
Yeah.
Let's say you spent $100. When I develop stuff, usually maybe 60-70% of what I spent that never worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And 30% is what ends up staying on the car because it worked. So
Right.
what would your percentage, do you think, be of the stuff you've tried and didn't?
Everything I've done to the car, 100% gains.
Wow. That's great.
Because the reason for that is a former SCCA road race car.
Right.
So it had 30 grand worth of parts already on it when I bought it.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
So it's kind of one of the reasons why I bought it, because you're just never going to find another Viper with that,
right.
List of parts on it.
Right.
Yeah.
So one of the guys who's been on our podcast a bunch, Scotty B. White, he's a Viper driver from Seattle.
Okay.
I'm going to connect you two together.
Cool.
Because he might have some advice for you.
Sure.
He's a road racer.
Okay.
But if you've gotten a lot of your stuff from the road race side,
Yeah.
this community is so tight knit.
Right.
I bet you he'd love to give you some advice.
Sure.
Scotty, if you're watching, you're going to get a phone call.
Yeah.
He's a great guy, by the way. So what's next with your car? Is there more development to do, do you think?
Yes.
Because you are 6/10 off the podium.
Right.
Is it for you to come back next year, or is it the car got to come back with a little better?
Oh, it's gonna be both.
Yeah.
I've been and I don't really have a background in like motorsport driving.
Yeah.
I've always been a hoon on the street and stuff, so I'm comfortable sliding cars around. But so drilling down on driving better is going to be huge. But the big thing for the car is going to be ABS.
Right.
I haven't heard of anybody else putting ABS on a Gen 2.
Okay.
So it's going to be a lot of trial and error and figuring out what parts work. but it's going to be huge.
Did the Viper ever come with ABS?
It did. The later ones did.
So can you use that to put on the new car? Will it fit?
I can,
Okay.
but a lot of the used Viper parts are stupid money.
Right.
You know, like knuckles and there's just all the
Sure.
stuff. If I was going to buy all the used parts, it'd be kind of not really worth it. So
Right.
I'm going to build a lot of it, and
Okay.
I'm also going to use like a motorsport quality ABS system, the
Sure.
Mark 60.
Sure.
So it'll be way better than the factory stuff.
So you said something really interesting, and I love drilling down on this because as a 30-plus year club member and someone who will someday not be able to do this, how did you find us? You said you didn't grow up with a motorsports background.
Yeah.
How'd you find us?
Back when I started racing bicycles when I was 12 years old.
Like pedal
And-
bicycles?
Yeah, like
Okay.
BMX, you
All right.
know. So I've always kind of like been comfortable and had fun going to the races. And, you know, once we got into cars, my brother and I, we kind of just went to the autocross to see what it was about.
Okay.
We were both driving air-cooled Volkswagens back then. So again,
There's a
wrong
step
car for
between
the
an
class.
air-cooled Volkswagen and a Viper.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, first car is a 58, and my car has a 58 number, so there's a connection, right?
There you go. What
Yeah.
was the first car? 58 what?
Beetle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, ragtop Beetle.
That's crazy.
And, you know, we turned every wrench on that car, so it's just what we've always done.
Right.
But where was I going with this? What was it?
No, how did you get to us? How did you find
right.
autocross?
Yeah, so we just hooned on the street, and we thought it'd be fun to just go, you know, chase cones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you from?
I was born in Brazil, but I've lived in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are part of what? Which region in Texas?
Houston region.
Houston region.
Yeah.
Cool. How many folks from Houston are here?
A good amount. I don't know exactly, but we have a pretty good showing here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking with someone else who said there were 60 from one particular region. I don't know if they were talking about all of Texas or
Right.
one region, but a very strong Texas contingent here.
Yeah. We just gained another national champion today.
And who was that?
Eric Sutton in Extreme Street.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. What is there a great solo scene in Houston?
There is. I don't know how big the club is now, but I heard it was like roughly the fourth biggest in the country.
Wow.
And this past year, we've been selling out events at roughly 200 entries.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. How many times have you been to nationals?
This is my third time.
Third time.
Yeah.
My first.
Cool.
So I'm asking everyone the same question. They're probably going to get sick of me asking the question by the
Yeah.
time we're done. Think back to your first.
Okay.
What was it like coming through the gate the first time?
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was just, you know, really fast cars and a huge scale. It's just everywhere you looked is just really talented people.
Yeah.
It's really humbling, you know. I think that's the biggest reaction.
I think you can learn so much here
Yeah.
in a compact amount of time
Right.
that you would take a long time to learn at your local level.
Yeah, and that's assuming you're in a local group that has some really talented people
Right.
too.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you measured yourself that first time
Right.
against the people who are here, how did that work out?
Oh man, the first day, on the test and tune course before competition runs, I broke a front sway bar link.
Oh no!
So on my first runs, I was like, man, this car is really hard to drive, and I didn't realize it until I watched the video that night. So that was really discouraging right out of
So
the
how
gate.
did you hear it on the video?
Oh, it was like full on drift mode in the car,
Okay.
just trying to kill me. I almost spun the car in the grandstands on the showcase corner. It was terrible.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but second day the car's way better. Would have I don't remember exactly where I would have bench raising and all, but
Right.
it would have done decent in the field
Cool.
if it worked for both days.
Cool. All right, so almost on the podium this year.
Yeah,
That means you're coming back next year, right?
definitely.
Yeah, you
yeah,
gotta-
yeah.
Is this your best finish though here?
It
the
is.
Fourth? Cool.
It is.
Cool.
Mhm.
Well, I really appreciate you taking some time with us, Andre, and good luck on the development of the car and the
Thank
development
you.
of you, and we'll follow you next year and see what comes next.
Awesome, I appreciate it.
All right, Inside the SCCA, presented by Mazda Motorsports. We'll be back in just a minute. Inside the SCCA, presented by Mazda Motorsports. Presented by Mazda Motorsports is the important part of this discussion. because they are our presenting sponsor. That means they are helping us get here, and we would not be here without that help. But they do so much for the SCCA and for our members. I just can't, they've been doing it for years too, by the way. There isn't a manufacturer that's really had the same amount of commitment to club racing as Mazda has, at least in my lifetime. There may be a little difference back in the day, but there's been no stronger manufacturer involvement in the SCCA than Mazda has over the years, and we really appreciate them. All the information you need about Mazda Motorsports, including their new Spec MX-5 class, is down in the show notes. Race Keeper is the official in-car camera of Inside the SCCA. The video I'm going to be able to post up next week will be from the Road Keeper units. We've got one in our car here at the Solo Nationals this weekend. Really cool unit, really good price point. And what's really cool is the overlays and the stuff that you can do with all of the stuff, the video that you get from the unit itself. So we're really happy that they're on board with us. And lastly, Goodyear Racing Tires, a longtime friend of the Inside the SCCA podcast. They're helping us out this weekend with a set of Dunlop tires. That's the Solo tire that I'm able to use. Goodyear doesn't have a Solo tire, so one of their subsidiaries is Dunlop, and I'm really happy to have them on the car this week. Lincoln, Nebraska, 50th Solo Nationals. Inside the SCCA, presented by Mazda Motorsports. Dina Kelly is with me, two-time national champion.
Yep.
Going for a third, hopefully tomorrow.
We'll see. I'm definitely warming tires tomorrow, first heat.
Okay.
Maybe luck will be in my favor.
All right.
But
Luck's good.
luck's good. Luck helps.
You got some skills.
I try.
You don't get two national champions here without having a little bit of skill. So, what are you driving?
I'm driving Eric Anderson's SSM Miata. It's
Okay.
a 1996 Mazda Miata.
Okay.
She's got a 1.8 liter block with a 1.6 liter supercharger.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's why it's an SSM.
That's why it's an SSM.
Yeah. Car's got a little bit of go.
It's adequate.
It's adequate. I love it. So how long have you been coming to this event?
My first year was like 2011 or 2012,
Okay.
and I drove an STC Civic.
Okay.
So front wheel drive. And then this next year I was in an ESP Mustang.
Okay.
And then I found my way into Miatas.
Sure.
And my first national championship was in CS Ladies in the new ND.
Right.
And then last year I won XPL in Eric's car,
Right.
the SSM Miata that I'll be driving
So
tomorrow.
I think this is probably going to run on Friday,
Okay.
this episode. And if anyone's watched all four, we are sponsored by Mazda Motorsports, but I was not required to interview all Mazda drivers. But I will tell you, there are so many Mazda drivers that it's almost hard to find people to interview who aren't driving a Mazda.
There are a ton of Mazdas out here. Miatas, RX-8s,
Yeah.
and the support that Mazda has provided for us with contingencies,
Right.
and at registration check-in, they gave all the Mazda drivers umbrellas
Right.
and like water containers, which was like a pro move for how hot it's been.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, it's like they knew.
Right. And the discounts on parts.
Yeah, that's been super helpful.
It's so everyone's going to think I was required to have all these Mazda people on. It has absolutely not been the case. And there's a lot of characters in Mazda Miatas these days too. So,
Yeah.
and characters make for good podcasts, by the way, people. So that's why we're here to have good podcasts. So, what is it about this event that brings 1,300 people from all corners of the country, some other countries? What brings people here?
It's like family reunion. Because we're all over the country, you know, a lot of West Coasters stay West Coast, we don't get to see each other all year long. So it's the time of year where we all gather in the middle of the country and get to see people we haven't seen all year and catch up and have some really fun parties and have like big wheel pro solo races because obviously.
Why not?
Yeah, like why wouldn't you?
Clearly, those people weren't traveling here in a Honda Fit because they would be no room for a big wheel.
No.
Who brings the big wheels?
Texas region.
Okay, of course.
Yeah, that's over in the Texas paddock.
So there's 34 rows of paddock space here for 1,300 drivers, although with a lot of car sharing, there's not 1,300 cars here. And Texas region, I believe, has 3 rows.
Yeah, they're big, like Texas. Shocking,
Sure.
I know.
Sure, they've got 60 drivers here.
Oh goodness!
Yeah,
Wow.
60, and it's not just one region; it's all of Texas because there's multiple.
Yeah, there's
regions
multiple
in
Texas. Well, that might just be like a region of Texas that has like the beer garden and the pro solo.
Yeah, I think they
can't
adopt
keep track.
other regions in Texas for this event.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like I can't keep track of Texas.
Yeah, we had the pool people on the show.
Oh, good.
On episode 1.
Do they have a filter this year?
They do.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, did they not in the past?
It's been kind of gnarly in the past.
Oh, yeah.
But like way in the past.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've looked at the pool, and when it was 98 degrees,
I bet it was lovely.
seemingly a good idea. And I thought my 21-year-old self would absolutely jump in that pool. My 53-year-old self was much more thoughtful.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad with age you've gained some wisdom.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
And some weight, but maybe more wisdom, I hope. So tell me a story. You've been here a long time.
Gosh.
What's your craziest?
Oh no.
You can change the names to protect the innocent.
To protect the innocent.
Or not, or protect the guilty.
Oh no, I definitely will throw Doug Rouse under the bus.
Oh, okay, bring it.
So speaking of big wheel pro solo.
Sure.
It was I think it was the first or second year I was out here, and so, I mean, there may have been drinks involved.
May have been.
I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Right.
So we're lined up to do the big wheel pro solo, and it's Doug Rouse and I. And if anyone who is watching this knows Doug, like, it's Doug. You get it. He's also a character.
Okay.
So we go race, and we come into the final, into the finish line, and we slide into each other, we make contact, like door-to-door contact.
Right.
And somehow Doug Rouse is the one that ends up on the ground and not me.
Oh.
I won.
There you go.
That's really all that matters. I won.
Was there a 5-second penalty for initiating contact?
I'm going to say he started it.
Oh, you are going to say that?
Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
Will he agree?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, we can find out.
It's actually a fairly mild story.
I know.
You're probably saving the good ones for when we're not on camera.
Yeah.
I'm going to pretend to turn the camera off. No, just kidding.
I saw you.
I know. Prepping. So here's one other thing.
Okay.
When you go to a normal race weekend, if there is a woman racing,
okay,
that's kind of a surprise.
Is it?
Outside of autocross.
Okay.
Maybe a handful at most. There are so many women racing here.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's
Let's start with
amazing.
that. What is it about autocross that attracts? It can't be just the fact that we have ladies classes, because I'm sure that's part of it.
I think the car sharing helps.
Okay.
Being able to hop in other people's cars throughout, my own autocross journey has definitely been a huge opportunity, because I've been able to drive things that there's no way I could build like Eric's SSM car. There's no way I could keep a car like that running.
Right.
And all of the work that he puts into that is amazing. So lowering that, it's almost like lowering the cost of entry.
Sure.
I suppose. Making it more accessible, and that's really helpful. Being able to share costs and being able to share the car like that is a big one. We also have Women on Track, which is super fun because now you get to make friends, and that'll open up more car sharing opportunities, hopefully.
Sure.
As well as just there's mentorship programs within that. So you get your buddy for the week, and you kind of help them navigate through, because there's so much happening here. And you kind of need an adult.
So Wednesday night, we honored Monday night, we honored the 100%ers.
Okay.
Those are the people who've been here for every one of the driven.
That's amazing.
Every one of the 50 Solo Nationals, and 2 of the 100%ers are women. But think about that. 1972.
Yeah, that's amazing.
We had a sport that was allowing women, allowing's maybe not the right word, but allowing.
Yeah, allowing and being friendly enough
to have women participate in 72, and then love it and become accepted enough to want to do it for 50 consecutive
and keep
years.
doing it. Yeah, everyone here is just so friendly and helpful. There's 1,300 people here. There's no way you could know every single one of them, but you have 1,300 friends when you're here.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you need parts. Like there's group chats where like people are like, hey, I need this, and then like other people just reply back and try and keep everybody running. Like it's such a great community.
It really has been kind of cool to be part of this thing for my first time. What is, how much do you get to autocross when you're not here?
So this year's been weird for me.
Okay.
Should I wait?
No.
Okay.
We're going to keep going.
Okay.
So we're in a banquet space here. It's called the Tire Rack Event Center. And it's 4:30 in the afternoon, and the catering crew has arrived to set up dinner for everybody. So if you hear the background noise, that it's actually not cars this time, or wind like we had yesterday. Yesterday the wind was blowing so hard in here.
Oh, I believe that.
I thought that was going to be a big
rough.
problem, but it turned out to be okay on the microphones. So if you hear some noise, that's what's going on in the background. We were talking about autocrossing. How much did you get to do this year before you came?
So I broke my ankle in May this year.
Okay.
So
Which ankle?
My right ankle.
Oh, that's a tough one.
But they put titanium in it, so that's
Okay.
cool.
Nice.
Like maybe it'll make me faster.
Yeah.
So I had one event this year, and this is my second event of the year,
Okay.
and this will be my first time driving that car in a year. Like the last
Very
time I
cool.
drove that car was
Here
last year.
Okay. Well, you did pretty well with it last year.
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah. So you're the second person driving LaFonda, right?
Correct.
And how many total? You referred to LaFonda as...
Am I allowed to say that on YouTube?
Absolutely.
She's kind of a hoe, but like we don't shame that here. Like
Right.
that's said with love.
So when Dina first told me that she was a hoe, I'm thinking, is there another driver here and I thought she was referring to a driver.
No,
and then I realized that she's referring to the car.
The car.
Who's named LaFonda. And I'm like, boy, there's some weird crap going on here.
I mean, autocrossers.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. But these are the stories I love to tell. I mean, we again, I don't cover the competition on these shows because I'd forget somebody and then they'd hate me forever and they'd troll me on
Why
Facebook.
didn't you cover me?
Exactly. So it's really hard to do, especially an event of this scale, to talk about all the competitions. But I love coming and talking about the event and the people and the stories.
The event's where it's at.
And I've not found a single boring person to sit in this chair and talk to me. It's
a pretty entertaining group of people.
It is absolutely an entertaining group of people. Dina Kelly, thank you.
Yeah.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. I'm going to need it. It's going to be a little cold
Yeah.
on those Hoosiers, but
Are you first group?
I am first group.
Oh, I'm second group, and I think it's
So-
going to be cold.
I'm going to have a good time warming those tires up, though.
Yeah.
I'll be sideways and giggling at the least.
Well, as long as you're giggling. I went out on a test and tune course this morning, and it was cold.
Yeah.
And I went into the sweeper section, and I turn in the wheel, and I'm like, please turn, oh, and then it turned, and then it bit.
You're like,
And then
please,
I'm
please, please,
and
please,
then I'm like,
please.
oh shit, it's turning.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, this is gonna be fun tomorrow, because it's supposed to be colder tomorrow.
Yeah, I was not prepared for that. So,
Yeah,
it'll be a good time.
So you have any tips for me?
Look further ahead.
Look further ahead. Is that just a good tip in general, or is that just because it's cold?
No, just eyes up.
Yeah.
Always eyes up.
Yeah. Good idea. Dina Kelly, 2-time national champion, joining us here on Inside the SCCA, presented by Mazda Motorsports. All right, that is a wrap from Lincoln, Nebraska. and we've put together 4 shows for you folks over the last week, and I have had so much fun here at Lincoln, experiencing the event, meeting the people, really getting to understand the scope and magnitude of this crazy event. 1,300 drivers, more than 60 national champions crowned. You might hear it in my voice. I'm a little tired here, but it's been a fantastic week. I've made new friends. I've seen so much and learned so much about autocross that I didn't even know was out there. You really can't get it until you get it. And the only way you can get it is by coming. So if you're on the fence about coming to Solo Nationals, get ready to try to get registered for next year. I'm sure they would love to have you. It is a fantastic experience. A big thank you again to everybody who helped us get here. Mazda Motorsports, Racekeeper, and Goodyear Tires, Goodyear Racing Tires for the Dunlops that we raced on. That's all for Lincoln. Time for a long drive back to California, but I am so happy I made it out here, and it was worth the 3,200 mile round trip that I'm going to complete on Sunday afternoon. So that's all for now for all of us here at Inside the SCCA and for all of our partners. I bid you a fond farewell, and we'll see you next at the runoffs. But before that, you can catch me every Wednesday night live at 9 p.m. Pacific time. That would be, 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific. And then, of course, the replays of the podcast launch on the podcast channel on Friday mornings. That's all from Lincoln. This is Inside the SCCA, presented by Mazda Motorsports. I'm Brian Belansky. Have yourself a great weekend. Go play with cars.